out, then you bust in and fight, tiger flies at the light. Saturday night, you know, fight, vivid sight, baby show, and the escapade. Fancy arcade, pixelated party, lesson day, unafraid. Karaoke screams, singing themes, heart and sleeves. Anime dreams, person seams, city gleams, dancing screams, endless streams, less extreme. Saturday gleams, so it's day gleams, so it seems nothing rings. Raise the channel, riot loud, crowd unbowed, techno sound, pulses pound, dream astound, youth unbound, joy profound, I'm lost and found. Channel raver on the prowl, echoes howled.
Good morning. Do you have your bowl of cereal? Are you wearing your PJs and sitting cross-legged in front of the comptometer? Because it's Saturday. It is me, the OGGM, broadcasting live from Site B, located in the mythical town of Fresno, Nevada. And it's time to take a break from a world without government and do something nice. Travel around the interweb, making new friends, shouting out new sites. Maybe we talk to these people. Maybe we don't. We don't know. This is the 88th episode of this experiment. I still feel it's successful. So, yeah, if you got a channel that you'd like me to shout out and I haven't shouted out yet, please feel free to DM me and let me know. A little housekeeping first. Remember, this is my job. So if you're feeling generous, consider supporting the OGGM adventures. There's a lot of different ways you can support me right now. I've got a Patreon that's up where I'm building all my new Shadowdark product. So if you want to see what's coming up ahead for me, there's that way to do it. Of course, we've got my links to drive through. So if any of the product I ever mentioned is something you want to purchase, you can use the link and it helps me out a little. I am an Only Crits Dice affiliate. So if you need to get yourself some dice for the holidays, use my affiliate link. They are the only tabletop role-playing dice in the world that have been tested and approved by Steve the Cat. Or you can simply give me a shout out, super chat, a like, a share, subscribe. But the best way to thank me for all the work I do every week is to use one of these links and check out the people I'm going to check out today and, make some new friends. As always, thank you to Jeff's Games Box, my #1 employee, for sending me all these links. Please, if you don't subscribe to me, subscribe to Jeff Games Box. The guy is just amazing. He does all this hard work every week to send me these links and asks for nothing in return. I just gave him a raise. I sent him a roll of adhesive tape that should keep him happy for a while. So yeah, let's help that guy reach 1,000 subs, shall we? Anyways, enough about me. Let's make some friends. We're gonna make some friends. I'm gonna say this word wrong. Mythical phylogeny, Phylongeny. They have 1.8K subscribers, 202 videos, and this is what they say. We will explore the various creatures of mythology and legend. Ooh. Together we will learn how they live, well, how we think they live, how they fight, well, how we think we fight, and where to find them. We'll look at the anatomy of everything from hydras to thunderbirds and see what it would take to make them real. We'll figure out their magical powers, be it basilisks or Medusa. We'll also investigate the gods that created them and the heroes that slew them. Interesting. So looking at cryptids and looking at creatures from mythology and folklore and looking at D&D type creatures and, imagining, well, how would a dragon actually work? How would a beholder actually work? Interesting concept. Let's see how well they do. Let's give them a like, share, and subscribe. But damn! And let's see. The last time they made a video was about 13 hours ago, and they talked about the Warlock class. Not one of my favorite spellcaster class. I think the Warlock could have been done a lot better. Then 3 days ago, they did one about Tatiana, Oberon, and Puck. So somebody's been reading Midsummers and talking about them. Then they did one about necromancy. Then they did one about the dragon Fafnir. They've got Bwana, the moon eater. Hisapatola, the Aztec god of the sun. Cthulhu. Pandora's box. The Minotaur. So yeah, they take we got some D&D stuff here, but most of it's just myths, legends, folklore, stories, and teaching you about them. I love this. I think more people should know about Oberon and Tatiana and Puck and Midsummers. It's one of my favorite Shakespeare's plays other than Hamlet, but yeah, what they say, everything you can learn about life, you can learn from Hamlet. I don't know who said that. I think it was Gene Bazemore. So I love this idea. of looking at these things and looking at them from a point of view is like, well, what if this is real? So, wow, this is cool. I really like this. I might want to check this channel out in my free time to see if I learn anything new. That's what I always like. I like to learn something new. Every time we do this, I like to make a new friend, I like to find a new channel, want to maybe learn something new about a different part of the world or a different style of D&D or whatever. Yeah, and make some new friends. Speaking of new friends, we got BX Forever. That's Basic Expert for those of you who don't speak old school. They've got 132 subscribers, 24 videos, and they say BXF deep dives into BX and compatible because Moldavian cook got it right. No video. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify. See link, Spotify, website, and then RSS. I guess it's a podcast site. What's the difference between podcast and a video at this point in time? Since most people film their podcasts, right? I mean, every podcast I've seen in the last couple years is also being filmed. So you've got the radio, you've got the setup, but then they're also videoing it onto YouTube or whatever. So now at this point, is there any difference between just doing a vlog and a podcast? Do you reach more of a wider audience? Should I do a podcast? Should I do a podcast? I would probably break it, but it might be interesting to check out. Anyways, they talk about BX. And let's see, the last time they posted was 9 days ago, and they're talking about CM1 Test of the Warlords BX Expert D&D. I guess it's an adventure. Here's their one. They're talking about B12 Queen's Harvest. That one's we know. Fortress Tomb and Tower. I played that one. I run that one. It's a pretty decent one. One of my favorite encounters ever ran was Fortress Tomb and Tower, where they were freaked out for like an hour by some slime that was moving across the floor. One of the best lines I ever got was from a player was, "Julie, why is the floor moving?" So they review adventures. Here's Knight's Dark Tower. Here's Palace of the Silver Princess. Here's Journey to the Rock, Parallel Rahasha, Veiled Society. That one's a pretty famous one. The Lost City. I mean, a lot of people consider that one of the best. Professor Dungeon Master did a whole series on why Lost City is such an excellent adventure. Palace of the Silver. 8 months ago, they did Keep on the Borderlands, Search of Unknown. So yeah, look at this. They're doing all the D&D ones. They've got, I think it's Beneath the Silver Spire. And then don't see a lot of the third-party BX stuff, but reviews of all the BX stuff. That is just awesome. If you're familiar with if you want to be familiar with some of the older classic modules, some are the good, some are bad, some are just in between. It was the Wild West of adventure creation back then. You'd have amazingly thought out, deep, intricate adventures. And then you'd have, ridiculous gray hockey and one goblin guarding 6,000 copper pieces and a +1 dagger for no reason. So it was just and from all this came, a lot of the adventures that are considered the classics, and they're considered the classics and the best for a reason. We constantly go back to Keep on the Borderlands because it was just so freaking perfect. It is probably the most copied adventure ever, along with maybe Tomb of Horrors and Against the Giants. But you'd be far-fetched to try and find a series of modules in a time period that was more influential than these modules in that time period in the gaming society, at least here in the States. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I can't even speak for other states. I can speak for California and know that through my gaming experience and the gaming experience of most of the people I know, it's like, Keep on the Borderlands, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is definitely worth checking them out. BX Forever, thank you. Awesome. Definitely a channel worth checking out. Please give them a like, share, and subscribe, and let them know you found out them from me. Blah, 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 blah. Then we got Dark Alchemy Limited. Dark Alchemy Limited has 515 subscribers, 516 and 153 videos. They say, welcome to Dark Alchemy, your ultimate Dungeons and Dragons hub. Whether you're a seasoned dungeon master, this guy, or a brand new adventurer, Dark Alchemy is your go-to channel for everything D&D, from thrilling campaign recaps to deep dive lore videos to homebrew content, class guides, and DM tips. We're here to help you level up your game. Join us as we explore legendary quests, reveal powerful magic items, and break down the best strategies for players and DMs alike. You'll find step-by-step tutorials, monster breakdowns, and world-building advice tailored to 5th edition and beyond. So grab your dice, open your player's handbook, and get ready to roll for initiative. Dark Alchemy is your portal to the world of Dungeons, Dragons, and forgettable storytelling. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, which don't work anymore, to stay up to date with the latest D&D video campaigns, inspirations, and tools. That could have been a few less sentences, boys. And they've got an Etsy, they've got a Linky, and they've got T-shirts. And let's see, the last time they posted a video was 13 days ago. And they are talking about how to be a paid game master at your local bar. Well, I don't know if I'd want to game at a bar, but I suppose if there was a way to do it safely. A bar seems like too loud to roll a game at, and too much, alcohol and outside things that could just go wrong. I don't know if I'd play at a bar. I mean, I've played at Denny's, but I don't know if I'd play at a bar. But how to be a paid game master. I'm thinking of starting to do that next year as I start play testing Shadowdark Superheroes and my next project. I've got 2 that I'm tinkering on with. So yeah, people have said you should do paid. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I barely get players as it is. Do you think people are going to pay to have me run? So it's definitely something I've been curious in. I'd like to know, how do I do paid without using Roll20? Because let's face it, Roll20 sucks. And then here's them talking about gaming in their area, talking about Kickstarters that they're supporting. Hear them talking to Gooey Cube. Don't we mad at Gooey Cube about something? I can't remember. I can't remember who we're angry at and not anymore. So I'm just starting, since it is Yom Kippur, it is time to atone for your sins and beg forgiveness. As far as I'm concerned, I have no trouble with any gaming company starting fresh. So whatever, don't care. You gotta do something horrible again for me to go, oh, I'm mad at this company. Here's them talking about Dungeons and Dragons with just girls, Gen Con, just various articles, interviews, focusing on Dungeons and Dragons, and particularly Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Doing Curse of Strahd with puppets. That's interesting. Here's them fighting a cool miniature of a beholder thingy. Here's them hanging out, selling their product, reviewing miniatures, interviewing people, talking about D&D, showing miniatures, talking about the product they've made, talking about D&D, interviewing people. So yeah, there we go. That seems to be their thing. These guys deserve more than 516 subscribers. So let's help them reach 500 and 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. Thanks guys for keeping the D&D 5e 2025 alive. Lord knows it needs a little injection of coffee from the fans out there. I'm sure there are people out there who are fans of 5e and just don't want to be involved with all the weirdness that comes with it. Like, it's a system. It has its good practices. It has its bad things. It's a very specific style of play. If you're into that style of play, it's fine. I like 5e 2014 version. So it's nice to see people just, hey, let's just talk about 5e without talking about all the bizarre machinations of weirdness that are attached to 5e. So thank you, Dark Alchemy, for keeping the 5e torch alive. And finally, we've got Yang Yan Zhu, which sounds like an old comic book supervillain. Yin Yang Foom, Fin Fang Foom. Remember Fin Fang Foom, the dragon that wore pants? Well, this is Yang Yan Zhu. He's got 857 subscribers, 485 videos, and he is a angry tiki mask. Yeah, angry tiki mask. Doing some talking about gaming. He says, comics, ? D&D, ? Movies and TV, ? Yeah, we've got it all here. The best in sci-fi, fantasy, entertainment, all reviewed here. And you'll see making of the South Bay D&D campaign and comic. They've got a link to Empire of the Undying Suns, a Kickstarter, a Twitter, an Odyssey. What's that? It's another one. And then Rumble. Okay. The last time they posted was 7 months ago. Oof. 7 months ago. Well, hopefully it's because there's something wonderful happened in their life and not something bad happened in their life. I always, when I see somebody who hasn't posted for a while, it's always, I'm hoping maybe they've moved to a different site. Maybe he's focusing more on Rumble than D&D YouTube. Maybe he had a baby. Maybe he got a job. Maybe they got married. I don't know. I just hope it's something good and not something bad. And we got a little quick clickbaity here with Sexy Nun. How did he get away with that? And talking about religion in D&D. Talking about Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine. Great movie. I've watched it 4 times. Superman. The problem with Superman is people don't know how to write him anymore. The only Superman works is if we make Dark Superman, if we make Homelander, if we make Omni-Man, if we make Sentry. Superman's got to be bad. No, he doesn't. He does not. Reviews of Old School Rules, Dissecting Rebel Moon Part 2. Visually amazing. Beautiful film. Just horrible film, but beautiful film. I mean, just visually stunning. But yeah, just an awful film. Blah, blah, blah. Last Airbender, How to Do Cities, How to Make Romance in D&D. Don't have that. Just don't. It follows off. It just happens beyond on the other side, right? The future of D&D. I think Wizards of the Coast has told us the future of D&D. Here's another clickbait of a girl in a yeah. How did you get away with that, dude? D&D YouTube usually strikes very hard on pictures that hint of titillinies, but congratulations. So reviews, mostly reviews, and some stuff on D&D, mostly reviews on comics and movies and stuff like that. So just a hodgepodge channel. If that's what you're interested in, this might be cool to check out, though the individual in question has not posted in 7 months. Must be hard to post when you're just a tiki mask with no hands. So unless he's a powerful telekinetic, maybe that's why it takes him so long to post, because he's like, dropping the nose on the keyboard and just slowly trying to, I don't know. Hopefully he or she, I keep saying he, but it could be a she. I don't know. Hopefully they are okay and they can come back and keep making awesome content. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on all things gaming and pop culture. Love it. As a pop culture anthropologist, yes, I have a degree in anthropology. That's done me no good. But hey, I got one because they said, when I was graduating, they said, you've taken enough social sciences, you could get another degree. You just have to take like 1 or 2 more classes. And I was like, okay. And I took like 2 more classes, and they're like, okay, here's your teaching degree, and here's your anthropology degree. So yeah, along with my teaching credentials and my teaching degree, I am also an accredited Bachelor of Science in Anthropology. Yeah, a lot of good that's done that me, but hey. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. He was writing his own stuff and dropped a quick. I guess he's talking about the last guy. Anyways, thank you for Jeff's Games Box for sending me these links. As always, guys, if you have a spare second, head on over to Jeff Games Box channel, link down below. Give the poor guy a subscribe. He deserves to have 1,000 subs. He deserves to be monetized by the end of the year for all the hard work he does every week, sending me these links. This thing would not have lasted as long as it has if not for Jeff. So thank you, Jeff's Games Box, for the links. Thank you, Mythical Phalange, BX Forever, Dark Alchemy, and Yang Yan Zhu for creating your amazing channels and allowing me to visit them. And thank you to each and every one of you for taking a moment out of your Saturday to hang out with me and to do something nice, to do something pleasant, to do something kind, to wander through the tabletop role-playing game YouTube world and just shout out channels and say positive about them, because there's far too many people who are just, have channels that are totally dedicated to saying negative things about other channels. I want to be the exception. And, of course, selfishly, if any one of those individuals want to subscribe to me, I wouldn't say no, because I could always use more friends. It's, cold and lonely here at Site B. Anyways, that's it for this Saturday. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled nonsense later today as we return to my occasionally run Shadowdark campaign. So if you're interested in some Shadowdark events, that'll be around 1 p.m. California time. Other than that, see you on Monday. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please be safe there. And remember, it is the holidays, specifically Halloween. So if you have pets, especially cats, especially black cats, keep them indoors. Please keep them indoors. I mean, every freaking day I see somebody with posting about how they lost their cat. And I'm like, keep them indoors. Till next time.
Electric beats, bust the streets, endless streets, midnight beats, living heat, hearts beat, bleed, polyphonic needs, cyber beats, rhythm sweet, Saturday seats, beat retreats, makes us complete. Blazing trails, no fails, neon veils, waves of gales, color tales, joy sails, countless wells, endless rails, like a veil, Saturday's tale, we hail breaking jails. Break the channel, riot loud, crowd unbound, techno sound, pulses pound, dream.